Hello, plugged in, ready to go.
And me, hello, yes, you're a dipshit. Wonder Boy, are you ready?
I am ready.
We are officially live and in a bit of a hurry. Not really. Okay. Just checking my buttons are all square here. Shall we begin?
Let's begin.
Pa-da! Pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa. Well done. The Wonder Boy in the house. What's happening?
Hello, Patrick.
Hello, Ian. Now, I don't know if did you get a chance to listen to this week's podcast yet?
I listened to a bit of it, yeah.
Okay. I didn't mean anything because I'm getting some negative feedback about me hating English people.
I was noticing that. You started with that sort of epiphany
Yeah.
about not dissing English people, and then the first thing you do is diss not just English people, but the monarchy, the Royal Navy. I couldn't believe it.
I sort of set myself up, though. It was too easy at that point.
Was?
So, yeah, they are still around if anyone's interested in joining.
Yeah, how do
Right?
we protect
That's
the
still
seas?
happening. Yeah, I guess they're recruiting as well with a nice commercial.
Yeah.
So that's something. But I know I quite like English people. It's not the whole country that's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a few individual units. But what are you gonna do, right?
That's true.
Yeah, you didn't take offense, right?
A little bit.
Yes, I can imagine. Okay, here we go. Let's get into what do we got here? The chat. Should we say hello to the people,
Yeah, let's say
to the
hello.
unwashed masses? You can't actually see that because I'm on the screen here. But if I go like this, ta-da! Okay.
Yeah, okay.
What do we got? We got Elliot Travis. Are you familiar with Elliot?
What's up, Elliot?
Yeah, what's happening? John Paul Summers, who we've had on the show actually.
JP?
JP.
Yeah.
And Adam, guys and gals. Always good to add the gals in there, right? Adam's made a good decision there. Sometimes in this business. Okay. Then we got Sergio, our boy, who was reminding us earlier that we were late.
Yeah, good on you, Sergio.
You want to tell the people why we were late, Ian? Because of you?
Because I broke my phone this morning.
You did manage to break your phone, and we didn't have access to the internet because of
Yeah.
it. But if you want to send hate mail, do you want to give out your email so that people know where to direct their hate mail rather than send it through to...
Find me at fake Ian Rogers, and when I get the internet back, I will reply.
Yes. Okay. Well, before we look at this week's featured little spot that we're going to be looking at, who was this one shot by?
It was Ray Rushing.
This one was Ray, and I forget the details of what it was shot on.
It was shot on a Red Epic W with
Ooh.
some of Rob Schneider's full frame lenses,
Robbie Schneider.
apparently.
Who's Rob Schneider? The fucking dude from what's that movie?
Juice Bigelow, yep.
Yeah, that one. Okay, he's got his own brand of
Mhm.
lenses, and they happen to be full frame,
Yep.
which is nice. Okay. What we're gonna do? we were going to do something. I just
Questions.
had it in my head. What's that?
Questions?
Oh yeah, we can do questions from the audience, but we also need to check in on last week's
Oh yeah.
the Patreon bump. Whether or not
Johnny
we
Johnny
were-
Stuckmeyer.
Yeah. Fuck, you don't have the internet, do you? Maybe I will check
I've
over
cooked it
here.
all up.
What's that?
So by not having the internet,
you really added to the professionalism of this podcast.
So I was
What is it?
supposed to be improving
Studemaker?
Stuckmeyer.
Stuckmeyer. How do you spell it? Oh, there it is. I see it. Boom.
Got
In the
it.
old history.
So
Okay.
he was 899 likes.
Yep. 899 is not bad.
Now he's got
He's got 13.
912. That is 13 followers. One of those was me.
That is not the greatest bump in the history of
Okay, we need to
Instagram
work
followers.
on how to do the bumps. Maybe if you drop his name in the main podcast.
Yeah, I probably won't do that, but I
Okay,
will.
Okay.
I will. We will try and do better.
Yeah.
On Patreon for Ray, because this week is Ray.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we need to throw some support behind. Ray, still 13. If you think about it in percentage basis,
Mm-hmm.
you're going from 899 to 912.
1%.
Well, you didn't have to say it like that. You sort of breathed out 1% sort of thing.
1%.
Yeah. I know. I get it. Okay. Okay. Let's do some questions.
Yep.
Before we got here, what do we got? We got Zach C. Might be a stupid question on set. Are you lighting to the flat or Rec 709 image? I assume he's talking about like when you're working, right? As opposed to in
Mhm.
here. No, always to the 709. Because 709 is what you're going to see. Like that's what it's going to end up in that space. So the only reason that you use the LUT, at least from a lighting perspective, is because you can't see any contrast in the log image. It's really hard to judge the difference in exposure values between the bright part and the dark part because everything looks so flat. So you always use, and that's why I've talked about before on the podcast, using the Rec 709 LUT on either the Red or the Alexa. It is the most crunchy it'll ever be. So generally that gets softened up a little bit. So you want, the more crunch, the better, I would say, when you're looking at lighting, because it allows you to see much more detail. It's like the difference between lighting with the big lights versus small lights. When you can't see the differentiation between the two levels, between what's dark and what's not dark, it makes it a lot easier, a lot harder, because you're guessing essentially on what you think is happening. So I would say always monitoring to either your own LUT that you feel comfortable with, which we've heard lots of people on the podcast do it that way, or just to the standard Rec 709. The advantage being for the Rec 709, that if you're traveling all over the place, it's one less thing to think about, because every Alexa has it. You just sort of stock standard. But a lot of the times on set, you'll be flicking back and forth because the exposure check inside of the Alexa, and I can't remember if it's the same on the Red, but the exposure check is relative to the LUT image that you're feeding in. So what can happen is you can be looking at a bright scene, or say you're indoors and you're shooting and there's a window in the scene, and you flick on false color and it appears red, which red on the Alexa means it's blown out and unrecoverable. If you switch over to the log image and then false color that, you'll see that it's yellow, or which means almost clipping, or not even close, because it's taking all that information and just making it so crunchy with the LUT that it appears blown out. So you check it on the log image, and then you say, wait a sec, it's all is fine and dandy there, which means in the grade you can pull it back, or you can make adjustments on set. But
So you'd be lighting to the Rec 709, but also checking the log.
that's it. Yeah,
For that
the
reason.
log is the check.
Yeah.
The log is the check, or the log is also, we've heard now, I think 2 or 3 times, and I've incorporated it, stealing from the show, is using that log to trick. It's not to trick the agency people or whoever's the creative people, but it's to
Put them at ease.
exactly. It's to put them at ease and to say, because if you flick on a dark scene, it looks completely gray and pretty neutral, even if it's fucking really underexposed. So it's an opportunity for them. If you set it like that at the beginning of the project, like you sort of have to decide early on, is this going to be, are we showing these guys log or girls? Are we showing them log, or are we showing them Rec 709? Because you can't really switch midway through the project, because then, if you have one sort of moody scene and then one bright scene, if you show the bright scene in Rec 709 and you show the moody scene in log, they're going to be like, what the fuck is this? It looks completely different. Like all the colors are different. So you really have to commit to that early on. But yeah, so always in Rec 7 and 9. Okay, other questions? Eddie, my boy. What's the Leica camera that you own? I own a M240. So it's the old, older version of the Leica. But I like it. I'm not going to change. Okay, John Paul Summers. Yep, check both Red and Alexa relative to the LUT. Yes, thank you. Okay, another one here is, let's switch over this way. So the Vanderboy, I can see him. I'm not sure you can see that far though. Yeah, so John says, or JP, as he's commonly referred to, do you have separate reels for different types of jobs or just the one? The reel, and this sort of, whoops, I don't know if it's counterintuitive, but the reels, I've never gotten a job from a reel. I don't think I've ever had anyone ask. No, I mean, not in the sense that people have seen it. Mm-hmm. Like maybe random people have seen it and then I've gotten a job through that way, like through the general reel.
Yeah.
But I've never been like, do you have a car reel? And then I send through my stuff of just cars.
Yeah.
So I would say it is general. And even when people ask for a reel, I do my best not to send it. Even if they ask, because it's like, what are okay, I want to, what are you actually looking for? Who's asking for the reel? Who do I need to talk to? Because a lot of the times, if it's the director that's doing it, you can send them something more project specific and you can be like, hey, this is what I can do in this space. But if you get them on the phone, that's half the battle won, right? Because they're taking time out of their day, which essentially means you got them.
Yeah. Because
who's going to waste, you're not going to call 15 people.
Yeah.
You're going to call a few. But no, not reels for specific stuff. And every time I've done that, I guess I have done it before. Every time I've done that, I haven't gotten it. So
when you've sent your reel to
when I've sent something specific, where I'm like, oh, this is going to be a really good job. I'll send this through.
Yeah.
Now that could be a coincidence that I didn't get those jobs.
Yeah.
Or it could be that I'm shitty with reels.
Yeah.
Or it could be I'm shitty at cinematography. All of those things are a possibility in that.
A little bit column A, a little bit column B.
Yeah, you're not sure exactly where to go. But like, if I got contacted for, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the genre that would do it, like a beauty thing. I wouldn't send through a reel. I just send through a link of projects.
Okay.
But
I struggle with that a bit because I'd want to send through what I've done.
As in the whole project, or
well,
the
not
reel?
necessarily, but I'd want to show them. Maybe it's because you're at a different level than myself.
Yeah.
The people who are calling me or emailing me want to see something else. But the last time I spoke to someone, I sent him through a piece of work that I'd done, and he only actually commented on it at the end of the day when we'd finished shooting. He didn't say, I like your stuff, let's do it.
Yeah.
I worked with him. But then another time, I had someone ask to send through anything similar. Sent through a few things and still waiting for a reply.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The chances, like every time I haven't gotten it, there's no reply either. It's like you're just not going to get it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times they do it for, especially as you go up. You never know what place you are in line. But a lot of the times you have to imagine that, especially when you're starting, you're like pick 5 or 6. If you're someone's first pick, you're in that, I would say in Australia right now, if we were to take an example of just the country, there's probably 3 or 4 guys and gals that are, your tier 1 picks. And then there's the rest of us. So you have to imagine that you're fighting over scraps there, and the chances of them getting back to you with anything is almost zero.
I won't feel as bad now then.
Yeah. No, you definitely shouldn't feel bad if they don't contact you. But it's a tricky thing, because if you're going to get contacted, like if it was in a genre that I was really into, well then I would probably like make an effort.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times you're getting buzzed about, like, I don't know, I did a shitload of those Kmart commercials last year. Probably 12 Kmart ads. And when they originally started doing them, it's like, okay, it's going to be white psych. It's going to be people dancing around. Have you done large areas? Well, then I wouldn't send through a reel of large area stuff and bright stuff, but I'd send through one project. And the less that they see, the better. Because you're always going to find fault in something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
Yeah, you're giving them more. Like even my website, I got to change my website and pare it way back. I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
But I need to. You look at the top people, and it's like I was the guest on the show today was Paul Myers, who's DP, and he doesn't only do car stuff. He does a lot of really good car stuff. You go on his website, there's 6 ads.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking dude works way more than 6 times ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's working constantly.
Mm-hmm.
But he's very curated. This is what I do. This is how it goes. And yeah, of course, even in chatting to him, he gets stuck with shit gigs.
Yeah.
But you first of all, you don't say you're getting stuck with shit gigs, but you try and limit it as much as possible. And if someone contacts him for a reel, at that point, it's laughable. It really is in that. It's sort of in the zone that I'm hopefully just coming out of.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that the reel that I have now will be the last reel that I need. And I don't even use it. Like, I was thinking about taking that down.
Yeah.
It's like, what impression is it giving?
Yeah.
Like, I'm shitty at cutting the reel. I'm shitty at picking the music. So it's like, oof.
It's hard to tell a story, because I've seen some show reels that just sort of, they repeat the same scene too many times.
Yeah.
Coming in and out and then in and out. And then they just sort of die out. They're not sort of put to the music because cinematographers aren't editors.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. Nowadays you have to think that the last 4 guests we've had on the show have said the same exact thing.
Yeah.
That Instagram has become the real.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're looking for, in the old days, you got to figure you couldn't find someone's website, so you had to watch all of their shit. But now directors are following you for, a few months at a time and saying, oh, you've done this one. You've done this one. It's already in their head.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the time now, the reel would just be, okay, we have to convince someone very quickly that you're capable. Like the director already thinks you're capable. They bring you on. Now they got to sell you to the agency. And that's when it's like, you want to be snappy. You want it to be a minute long. And you want to only show shit that looks expensive. Because they don't care. Like if you're an agency person, you have to figure they're so far down the line you're deciding on a DP in the ad. Like they've been working on the ad for a year at that point. They get to you and it's just like, okay, we just want someone that has had that isn't going to shit the bed.
Mm.
Yeah, they have to look good, but really it's the director's job to decide on who they think is going to make their thing look good.
Yeah.
So if the director is giving you the okay, then the sign off from the agency normally would be, is this person going to fucking blow our $1 million on shit we don't need, or not having had that background. So that's it for reals. Fuck, we got a lot of questions here that we're not getting to. And what time is it? 10:10. Here we go. 20 minutes left. Okay, how to find director. Let's just go to the very top, see if we missed anybody. Okay, we will go like this. Welcome back, Ian. You got to welcome back.
Oh, is that my mom?
Yeah, no, it's is the Wonder Boy? Is it the Wonder Mom? Is that someone's screen name? No, you got. Let's see, where are we at? Luke gave you a welcome back, which is nice.
Luke. That might be Lukey boy.
Okay, this is Jamie Maldonado. He says, how to find directors and local agencies. I just can't seem to find directors that are serious or any of the bigger budget shoots that happen locally. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I think we've covered this topic quite extensively. You got to look at the people that are below you. Mm-hmm. If you look anywhere near at your level, those people have already got established links. DP is really the person that should be, not always, right? You're not always carrying the shoot. And a lot of the times what will take you to the next level is some older person finding you. That really, it happened to me. It happened to, and I only bring it up because it's just in my head because I did Paul this morning, but Paul had the same thing where it's like, there is a small advantage to being young and hustling, where an older person who may have worked with a DP up until a certain point, that DP gets to a certain point and they're like, I'm not doing your shitty regional ads because now I'm on the national ads. Mm-hmm. And there is that prime little moment where you can get hungry. But at the beginning, you have to be hunting below you. Like no one's, especially if you don't have something, no one's going to come at you. So, okay, let's do.
Cy Turnbull talked a little bit about that.
About
shooting, when he was shooting music videos, he'd be shooting live sessions and things like that.
Yep.
Not just sort of made up music videos.
Yep.
And I've done a bit of that.
Yep.
In the past for Downtown Tracks. Look them up.
Look them up. Plug to the folks watching.
I think not that many people on your show, the guests mention that sort of period of doing stuff for free or doing stuff for other people or very low sort of budget and just shooting to shoot.
Yep.
And in the area that you want to be doing it as well.
Yeah.
There's no point in shooting animal documentaries if you don't want to be doing that just because your mate's asking you, really.
Yeah, really.
After you've got to a certain sort of level of your own experience. But
yeah.
getting yourself out there. Below you, they're not making any money, just to be shooting.
Yeah. I mean, there is everyone has that period. There's no doubt about it. And even now, talking to everyone that we've talked to on the podcast, there is still. I mean, we were laughing about it when we got together in LA last time. Everyone is still doing copious amounts of dog shit stuff. Like that happens across the board from anyone on the show. They're all doing stuff that they're like, fuck me, like this is dog shit. Like, okay, we'll make it happen, but this is no good. You know, that period, I don't think that ends, which is a misconception that I had. Because I was thinking, well, guys at the top there, or girls, they are, they're not going through this period. They're going from cool job to cool job. And a lot of the time, they're just fucking brushing it underneath the rug and going.
That's what Instagram lies about.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and you know, Sai talked about it in the I can't remember if it was in the interview or afterwards, but it is a different role. Like if you, I don't know, if you're in a profession that doesn't require the visual aesthetic and the critiquing of that, you can be a lot looser with your Instagram. But if you're using it for business purposes, and Sai's a good example where not tons and tons of followers, but very curated. Like if you come across his images, and you go to his page and it's just stuff exactly like that, and you set that mood, it's an opportunity now it would be like on your reel if you had, some moody, dark, spec beer ad, and then you had a fucking Kmart ad. You'd be like, well, which one do you want to do? What am I looking at here? It's the same thing with Instagram now. You have to find that space. So, okay, let's go to what do we got here? Is there a way to set one of the EVF buttons to toggle on and off Rec 709 LUT on the Alexa? I'm thinking there are 2 buttons on there. One of them I know is false color. I don't know if they're programmable. I think they're programmable in the menu. I never use the EVF, which is why I don't know. EVFs give me headaches. And a lot of people use I don't know. I've never actually come across anyone that uses the EVF constantly. But a lot of people like the EVF because it never changes. Like you can go to, Japan, and they have some monitor that they calibrated with their own system. It looks like ass, or maybe it looks fantastic, but you don't know. So the only thing that people really trust is the EVF. So a lot of the times you'll see in behind the scenes pictures, the DP will have the monitor and the EVF, and that EVF is really just for like, it's consistent, which is the whole point, and which is really all you need. Like you don't need the world's greatest monitor. You just need to know what you're getting. And that's where, especially now that light meters have gone the way of the fucking telegraph, that really is all you got. Okay, let's do. Okay, we're gonna do another. Should we just do questions this time, or should we get into these images? Because we're overloading with questions. What say you, Ian?
Oh, let's go. Let's go a bit of Ray rushing.
Okay, let's go.
Let's see what he's done.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna put pause on the questions, just because we are slightly. We got about 15 minutes left. Okay, so Ray sent this project through. This is, I believe, it's a commercial. I don't know in nature if Ray is in the chat. Yeah, Jeff, Paul, super nice dude and super talented. And yeah, it was a real cool conversation. I'm getting off topic. Just people in the comment section saying that Paul is very talented, and no doubt. And I actually heard about Paul through Jeff. Jeff's a director, so thank you. Okay, let's get into Ray's stuff. It's some sort of commercial. It's very bold in color, not too dissimilar to when we had Garrett Hardy-Davis on the show. This is, as these things are becoming popular, and not too dissimilar to last week's when we had our boy Studemaker. Stuckmeyer. When he was on the show, this is bold use of colors. I've chosen a selection here of just various grabs. Let's go to the next one so we can see all these ones before we talk about them.
Okay.
But the number one thing when you're choosing these strong colors, right? You've already got complementary colors. This is by far and away the best image.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can tell. Like maybe it's just me when I'm looking at it. But there is a degree of depth that you expect to find in a commercial project, like a very high level commercial project. And these shots, they look great, right? They look nice. Great is a very strong word. Whoops, that's size work. These ones, they look good, right? And let's see if I can flick over. Can't remember how to do it. Function, command. No, I lost it. They look nice, right? They're of a piece. And then as you flick through, the density is all there. This one is a little bit flat, but this one,
That's the one.
Come on.
You're drawn straight to her face, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, you got everything. You got the reflective light, but look at look at the good stuff that you got. Like, without sounding like a broken record, you got light, you got dark, you got light, you got dark, you got light, you got. I mean, talk about beautiful shape. Like this shape on her face. I mean, that's what you want. You got fucking 2 colors in there, in her face that are complementary, one crossing the other. Then just the positioning inside of the frame, the way that she is, the sweat dropping down. It's actually in focus.
Good work.
Well, I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's hard to get shit, especially sports shit, in focus when you're shooting wide open. Like, there's very rare glimpses where you actually get everything crisp that you want to get crisp. And it makes a huge difference. Like, flicking through some of these, like, soft, I would say. Like, I don't know. Is this in focus? This looks like this is the in focus in this bit.
Yeah.
And she doesn't look super sharp.
Yeah.
But it's all come together in this shot. Really nice color. Nothing is too oversaturated. Like, this is the right amount of blue that you would want to be putting in there. Whereas in here, I mean, I know that you're shooting the lamp, but it just feels like, look at this highlight on her cheek here. That's ever so much on the edge of
crunchiness.
Of crunch, you know?
I learned that last week.
Yes, but can you feel the crunchiness now looking at this? I wouldn't say that I'm out of bounds in thinking that this is crunchy. Still, this is a really, really hard shot to do, and it's why I picked that one, because we got that same problem. We talked about this last week. You got a person up against a wall. Like, how do you create shape up against a wall? It's very, very hard to do, and you can see the shadow coming from over here, which means we've got a fairly, well, it's not that big of a source, but it's covering quite a bit of ground because you got the whole wall lit up. But you can see from the shadow, it's not super soft. And then you've got the fill coming in from this side that's filling in all of this stuff. Very, very hard to get something pleasing, and the lines don't give you a lot of options for, you know, pick the dark part here, right? Like, where is there the darkness? You're not really getting that. You're getting like light to mid-tone, which isn't quite as dramatic as this. You know, this feels a lot more polished. Again, this one is it's a nice image. I'd still say just the density is a little bit off, but you got all the right things happening here. You know, you got this light here. This key is a slightly different color, much more neutral than the background. I like this wrap on the skin here. Like this magenta that's coming from this thing is good. I would only say that it seems quite a bit, and it could be in the grade. This seems quite a bit hotter. What am I drawing with? This one seems quite a bit hotter than his relative back here.
Yeah.
And these ones up here. That could be a great thing, but I don't know. It just stood out as slightly different. But again, nice colors, nice compositions. You know, the whole time, I hope Ray's in this and he can post a link to the actual ad. But a lot of this time, this stuff is moving around. It's like a high impact commercial. And then we get to here. Now, you know, I can't remember what episode it was on, but Chase Irving, he did an Apple iWatch commercial. And it is really, really bold colors like this. And the hard part about bold colors in wide shots is again keeping that shape and getting some sort of shape in there with the tools at your disposal. And it's really, really hard to do. This one, I like the level. You know, like this mood is really, really cool. It would be more, are we happy with the variance? You know, is there enough degree of variance that makes it interesting?
Yeah. The guy in front could be a little bit brighter. I know it's
down.
That's sort of just a wonder boy from Wolverhampton's point of view.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
but he might not have been the focus that they wanted to get. So
yeah, it gets more like it's a very hard space, right? Because the mirror is giving you something because it's giving you depth, but still you're up against this wall, so you have to go fairly broad and soft to give it the effect that you want, and then how do you shape things locally? That's the tricky bit. This one again, tricky because you're smushed against this wall, and you get this again on this side, like this level. I don't know what's going on here. This level seems more neutral. That may be because you're not getting the reflective angle of the skin. You know, it could be just one turn of the head and you get much less reflection from the light. So that may be why this right one feels more neutral, and this one feels like we are, like even in our skin here where it's not as reflective, that feels better. But up here, as it starts to get reflective, it seems like it's more powerful. Therefore, it pushes the color even further on the sensor, and it can be, you know, a razor's edge between looking like you've gone too far and you haven't, you know. But overall, in a what seems to be like a very small space with limited angles and stuff, I would say very good job. And I would say, man, if you had a real shot, this would be the one that you would take from the reel.
That's it. That's the Instagram one.
Yeah, that's the winner. I mean, you've got all the aspects of a great shot. In the other ones, you've got the elements of a great shot, but the hard part is really pulling that all together, pulling it all together to get everything in the frame.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what separates, someone like Paul's work, where it seems as though he manages, knowing ahead of time, like you got to make the mistakes multiple times, where who knows when the mistake for this shot was made. And I'm not saying it's a bad shot, right? I'm not shitting on Ray's stuff. It's good. But who knows when this went from, well, we could get a 10 out of 10, like this shot, or we could get something like this. You know, maybe it was 2 weeks before the project. Maybe it was 10 minutes before you rolled. It takes a lot of experience to go, fuck, where did we go wrong? Like, was it in the location scout? Should I have said earlier, like, oh, we don't want to be up against that wall? Or should I have said it on the day? Should I have just pulled them out a little? Should I, it all comes down to, those choices when you make them. And we got Josh here saying, like, feels like there's a need for highlights in these scenes. That does make a difference. It's just that little pop. Mm-hmm. It's that little pop that will, especially in.
Well said, Josh.
Where's the one? Where's the group shot? This one, a little ping, just to bring him out. And again, I mean, that may be difficult because of the mirror in this situation, because you probably put the stand with the little fucking half cup dado just here, just because you need to get it in his eyes. But it's not a bad thing. It looks like a lot of the work is being done from over here. Looks like you can. I don't know if you can see that. Is that a stand over there? That looks like a movie stand, doesn't it? That little thing there. Anyway, yeah, it would be hard to fit it in there, but I'd certainly understand where you're coming from. But yeah, that's Ray's stuff. Yeah. Overall, what do you think? I mean, is this color thing? Yeah, what do you think of this color thing? Are you on board?
Yeah. I'm a fan of colors.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of contrast.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of the being able to control the colors against each other.
Yeah.
To get the complementing ones, it's something that all I know is teal and orange.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
So to see this one where the colors come quite close together in some sort of areas, and being able to complement like that is very nice.
Yeah. I think definitely the ability to do this stuff is so new, and everyone's sort of finding their feet on how far is too far to push and when you can use it. But you imagine this commercial in just like standard neutral lighting.
Yeah.
How boring it would be.
Definitely.
It does add something to the uniqueness, and who knows how long that will last. It could be in 12 months from now, you're like, fuck, we're doing that old trick. It's like doing macro shots in a car job, like where you're shooting like the accelerator revving or something. Like everybody knows that shot's coming. Could that be the case now moving forward? And what other arenas does this apply to? Like, could you do this in, I don't know, if I was doing, I'm doing a job tomorrow for an internet company. This stuff's not gonna fly.
Probably not.
This is not gonna fly.
Probably
so
not,
it definitely takes its own its own unique space, but it's fun. It's definitely really, really fun because it adds another element.
And gaffers love using those colored gels.
They do love getting them out. I think colored gels is really a WA thing, like a Perth, Western Australia thing.
Oh, is it?
Well, because no one else. I don't know what he used.
Yeah.
But the chances of him using gels, I have to imagine, is almost zero.
Oh, okay.
I think this would be a sky panel.
Me.
No. But I mean, I think that because what would have happened before is this would have been really hard to do this way, because you would have had to fucking use all those gels.
Yeah, okay.
And you would have had all those teams. It's like last week when we were talking with the hives. Those are you just tune them. Same thing with the sky panels. It's like, yeah. And I don't know. It's rough though. Like if you don't have sky panels and you're a gaffer, you got a full truck. Now you got to buy $13,000 sky panels.
There's a couple knocking around in Perth though now.
Well, it's sort of like they have to.
Yeah.
It's very hard not to now that you can see what's possible. Okay, let's do a couple quick questions, and then we hit the highway. Okay, where do we submit work for the live stream? You just send it in. Send it in on Patreon. Generally, we've gone over this. If you send it in about an hour before we start, that's usually when the panic starts that we're about to go live, and I need something to look at. Okay, this one's from Jim Flores. I'm a fan of colors, as it's something I've done recently, even though I've done it myself too. I'm over the showing the light tubes in the frame as production design. Well, that was like a Quasar thing, right? The Quasar tubes are essentially everywhere. And it's not bad, though, because sometimes it can feel industrial, like in size ad. Like that feels like it should have been there, that tube. But just a tube for tube's sake, right, is a little bit, it's questionable. Yeah, it is pretty much everywhere. And it's in low budget stuff because Quasars are cheap. And they do a really good job of fitting that need of needing something interesting in the background, right? There's always, and, it's like a layer thing. Very cheap and easy. Just throw a tube in the background. Immediately you have that light to dark contrast. And you can get away with lots of stuff. So, okay. Ian, parting thoughts as we hit the highway here. This has been short but sweet.
This is always when I come up blank, innit?
Yeah,
we spend all week thinking of really funny and interesting stuff to say.
Yeah,
and I get my big moment, and I say fuck all.
Okay, well, how about this? Did you make any progress with the Ursa thing?
Yes.
Are you lying to the people right now on the internet?
No, I made.
Are you lying?
I made progress that when we get the Ursa going, it's not going to be anamorphic.
Okay, Ursa anamorphic is out. But we are planning now. Is it possible that we will have a camera on you next week?
Maybe not next week, because I'm probably not going to be here.
Oh, you're out for fucking weeks now.
But the next time I appear,
January 2019, Ian will be back on the live stream.
Will be visual.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just the dulcet tones of the Midlands.
Yeah, Josh actually wants to look at some of the Wonder Boys' work.
Oh, hello.
Yeah,
sorry, I don't send out show reels.
See, exactly. See who we're looking at.
So, you can check out some of my stuff at Fakey and Rogers. Instagram.
Yeah, the old Instagram trick. I see. Okay, everybody, that's going to do it for this week. Many thanks, and we will see you on the next one. Ian?
Next time?